For problem number 1 and problem number 2, we're not going to worry about the graphing. We're just going to do find the inverse. First thing you do on any inverse problem is switch x and y. To get rid of this tangent, what we're going to do is we're going to do the arctangent, or what's easier is just tan negative 1, they mean the same thing, equals 2y. Divide both sides by 2. Inverse tan of x divided by 2 equals y is the inverse. For problem number 2, we got y equals pi over 2 plus the arc cosine of x. So x equals pi over 2 plus the arc cosine of y. Subtract pi over 2. X minus pi over 2 equals arc cosine y. Now to get rid of the arc cosine, we are going to put the cosine on both sides. So the x minus pi over 2 has to be in parentheses, equals y. For these problems, we're looking for the arc cosine of negative 1. So when we do the arc cosine of negative 1 and we put it in degrees, it tells me that the answer is going to be 180 degrees. Now since we want these answers to be in radians, I'm going to multiply by pi over 180, which gives me the answer of pi. For problem number 4, arctangent of 1, put it into your calculator, you get the answer of 45 degrees. Now multiply that by pi over 180. When we do 45 over 180 in our calculator, we get 1/4. So the answer turns out to be pi over 4. For problem number 5, arc sine of negative 1/2 gives me the answer of negative 30. When you put in your calculator, multiply by pi over 180, and that turns out to be negative 1/6. When we do negative 30 over 180 in our calculator, it's negative 1/6, but we still need the pi in our answer. So we get the answer of negative pi over 6. That's a 6 right there. And finally, for the ones that are pretty much one-step problems, we got the inverse sine of the square root of 3 over 2, which turns out to be 60 in our calculator. When we multiply by pi over 180, that turns out to be pi over 3. Inverse cosine of the sine of pi over 3. We're just going to do what's inside the parenthesis first. So really this is the sine of 60. In my finger trick, it is the index finger. How many fingers are below the index finger? That would be 3. So we got the square root of 3 over 2. When I put this in my calculator, the inverse cosine of the square root of 3 over 2 turns out to be 30 degrees. And when I multiply by pi over 180, we get the answer of pi over 6. And then the last one, problem number 8, tangent, sine negative 1 of 1 minus cosine negative 1 of 1/2. When I put this in the calculator, The inverse sine of 1 is 90. The inverse cosine of 1/2 is 60, which means I'm stuck with the tangent of 30. Now when I put in the tangent of 30, my calculator doesn't give me an answer I can write down, so I use my ring finger, which has 1 over 3 fingers, square root, when I flip my hand over, so I get the answer of 1 over the square root of 3. For the word problem, we're told the temperature is 62 where we want it, and we want to find out what month it is. 10 sine pi over 6t minus 2 pi over 3 plus 57. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 57. So we got 5 equals 10 sine pi over 6t minus 2 pi over 3. Divide both sides by 10. Alright, so where's the sine equal to 1/2? Quadrant number 1 and quadrant number 2. And that's going to be 30 degrees, and that's going to be 30 degrees, which means really we have 30 degrees and 150 degrees. When I change this to radians, that's going to be pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. Now my answers have to be between 0 and 12 because my period here is 12 because we're talking about months. So I got 5 pi over 6 equals pi over 6 minus 2 pi over 3. And I have a second equation, which is pi over 6 equals, I need a t there, pi over 6t minus 2 pi over 3. So I'm going to add 2 pi over 3. So 5 over 6 plus 2 over 3 is 3 over 2. Running out of room here, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 6 over pi. And that turns out to be 9. Which month is 9? That is September. I'm going to add 2 pi over 3 over here, plus 2 pi over 3 over here. So 1 over 6 plus 2 over 3 is 5 over 6. So that turns out to be 5 pi over 6 equals pi over 6t. Give myself a little bit of room here. Multiply both sides by 6 over pi. And the 6's cancel and the pi's cancel, so 5 equals t. And so that is the month of May. So we got May and we got September. And that's how we do problem number 9. Alright, email questions, work on your homework. See you tomorrow.